Welcome back to Positive Vibe Curators, where we bring you the best ways we can find to help you create positive vibes. Our daily lives are filled with outside stressors, from work to kids, spouses, traffic, or even the news. We're bombarded every day, all day, with outside stressors. Today, we're going to talk about navigating those stressors, specifically unnecessary stressors. We have plenty of stressors that aren't easy to ignore. Parenting, our own parents, work, school. There seems no short supply of stressors. But we often allow many unnecessary stressors to infiltrate our positive vibe, which leaves us less calm to deal with the stressors that aren't so easy to ignore or remove. So while today's session is not a meditation per se, it's something that we need to practice throughout the day to protect and cultivate our positive vibes. But before we jump in, why don't you reach out and give that like button a big hug. Squeeze it real hard just to let it know you care. Okay, so be honest with yourself. How often are you disturbed by the latest headlines the moment you get online? Or how often do you engage in the conversation about how bad someone's kids behaves or the clothes someone is wearing? We don't realize just how much of our positive vibe is stolen with these lines of thought, because they are thought. So real talk, this episode is going to focus on minding our own business. Now, by no means is this a judgment. If you do this exercise throughout the day and find that headlines, gossiping, or taking offense at someone else's choices don't affect you, then by all means continue. We aren't trying to dissuade you or encourage you. We're simply showing you an exercise that you can perform all day, every day, that could help you stay positive and curate those positive vibes, and really form a basis to help stay positive through those stressors we can't control. So let's say you turn on your computer, and the first thing you see is the latest disaster or crime or whatever current discord or tragedy is trending right now. What is your reaction? Are you upset, angered, saddened? The key to this exercise is paying very close attention to your thoughts and feelings. Where do you feel it in your body? Your chest? Throat? What do you do next? Do you click it or turn away? This is where you can decide if you want to fall down the rabbit hole and get fully engaged with it or not. Technically, you do this all the time, but maybe not so consciously. Some days you're willing to engage, and some days you aren't. But this is about making the choice, rather than simply being pulled into whatever outside stressor is put in front of you unconsciously. Sometimes, or if you're anything like me, most of the time, we don't even notice that we're engaged until we've already started feeling the anger, frustration, stress, sadness, or whatever. At any moment you notice you are not in a positive space, or see or hear something that triggers any feeling less than a positive one, pause. Take stock. Ask yourself, do I really want to engage with this? In more cases than you realize, the answer is no. And at that point, you can disengage. This is much easier with stressors that really have nothing to do with us, but I encourage you to try this just for a day. This is not about sticking your head in the sand. If you turn on your computer and you see a story about something terrible like a murder, before you click to read more, just take that second to ask yourself, how does reading this headline make me feel? Does this have anything to do with me? Is there anything I can do to make the situation better? Is it any of my business? Will I feel better or worse by reading or watching further? Do I really want to engage with this? If you can answer yes to any of these questions, or continuing with it will not bother you, then continue by all means. But should you continue, we encourage you, pay close attention to how you are reacting internally and physically. Either way, at least you made the choice to engage or not. The more we make this choice, the less we find ourselves engaging in anything that we don't want to that will steal our good vibes. Okay, let's take another situation. Someone is probably getting on your nerves because of the way they dress, the way they look, what they have, how they choose to raise their kids, or the way they let their spouse walk all over them. Whatever it is, I'm sure you can probably picture someone right now. Pick whatever or whoever bothers you. And I know that this might not resonate with everyone, but yet it seems to with most people. So the very first thing to understand is it's not them. It's you. Sorry, it's you. And we don't mean this in a harsh way. We just know that until you see how you're allowing yourself to steal your own good vibes, you'll keep doing it. But other people find this person irritating, unacceptable, etc., too, you say. That may be, but that still doesn't change the fact that the person that you find irritating is not irritating you. You are irritating yourself. I know, this is a hard one to swallow, but just stay with us for a little bit while we get through this question. Again, we're not discouraging you or judging you. We're only here to help anyone who wants to stay and be positive to achieve their good vibes, okay? So, does this have anything to do with you? Whether it's them letting their kids misbehave, eat badly, you don't like the way they dress, or how their relationship is with their spouse, whatever it is, you've probably seen random people in Walmart or at the table next to you at the restaurant, they talk a little too loud, How does it actually have anything to do with you? Is there anything you can do to make the situation better? Now, likely, if this has nothing to do with you, you interjecting your opinions won't help the situation. If you aren't buying their clothes, if you don't have to endure their child's bad behavior, if you aren't feeding their child, if you don't have to deal with any negative antics they do with their spouse, then it's likely anything you interject unsolicited will only garner negative vibes, not good vibes. Will you feel better or worse by engaging in this? And the big question, is any of this your business? If the answer is no, the work is on you to work through why something that is not affecting you in any way is bothering you. And the reason for that? You are giving it your attention. And really, attention is the point today. We are only affected by what we give our attention to. If you are bothered by something that has nothing to do with you, doesn't really affect you in any way, and you can't do anything to change it or help the situation, then remember, it only can bother you while you give it your attention. And the mind cannot focus on more than one thing at a time, so if we learn not to let things that don't really affect us steal our attention and our good vibes, we're more likely to spend more time feeling good. So we encourage you to practice paying attention to what you're paying attention to. And if it's not cultivating a positive vibe and there's nothing you can do to change it, give your attention to something that is more aligned with those positive vibes. For me, it's people that chew very loudly. I can't do anything about it if it's not my kid, so in goes the headphones or I walk out of the room. And I save that energy, like we're encouraging you to save that energy for the stressors that aren't easy to disengage from. And we'll go into those more in depth next time. We hope you enjoyed today's curation of positive vibes. And if you did so, please hit the like button. Don't be afraid to subscribe and hit that bell, and you'll catch the next one as well. Have an awesome day.